check that girl, because she don't want to lose. She don't want to lose. She can't control her, big dog. Don't take me over there. Because guess what? Shoot! I'm up there, big dog.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Snapasode. You're probably wondering, this ain't the last but not least podcast. What you got going on, bro? Well, in an effort to get you guys out more content more consistently, I created a separate channel called Man vs. Mike. Welcome. Man vs. Mike is just me kind of just going through live events, stuff that happens the day of, the day before, and it allows me to really be able to push out content a lot more fast, right? So for those people who are unaware of what it's like to produce a podcast, nigga, it's all on me. So from the graphics to, transcoding to moving documents to the sounds and all that, all the minutia, all the small little details that you have to do to make a podcast look like a podcast. I do that on a regular basis, and it's difficult to do, especially when you're splicing several camera angles at one time, and then you also have a newborn and then like a toddler. I do want to make sure that I'm able to get to you guys in a timely fashion, get you guys content, so that way you can chime in, let me know your thoughts, and maybe we'll host a couple people here. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we'll get a couple people to kind of jump on a live here and there, but that's kind of what this page is for, is just to get you guys more content in a timely fashion. Let's get into the first topic. Old Vince McMahon of the WWE. For y'all who don't know who Vince McMahon is, he's the founder. It used to be the WWF, which was the World Wrestling Federation. They changed it to World Wrestling Entertainment. I guess it was offensive to some people back in, I think, like the early 2000s or something like that. So they changed it or whatever, right? Vince McMahon has been accused of SA by a lady, former employee. I forget the lady's name. I think it's like Shelly or something. I don't know why Shelly sounds like the name of somebody who would file an SA case or whatever. Don't judge me. It's probably not Shelly. So just for the record, I'll put the real information below. But so the woman says that, first and foremost, she's filing a lawsuit against him. Vince McMahon went on to try to get her to sign a $3 million non-disclosure agreement that she refused to sign. And according to several reports, that Vince McMahon and other employees of the WWE engaged in heinous sexual activity, I guess is the best way to put it, without getting censored off of YouTube. Allegedly, there was some defecating going on in that situation. She had a weekend with Vince McMahon and another associate of Vince McMahon's, and shortly after that event took place, she was let go from her job at WWE because I believe they thought she was, kind of too dangerous to still hang around and gather more information, whatever the situation was, but they let her go, right? Why they didn't think that she was going to come back and sue them for that, I have no idea. Like, you would think, and this may be me getting off the beaten path here, but this is a little bit impromptu, not like how we do at the Last But Not Least podcast. Please, if you aren't following the Last But Not Least podcast, go follow them now. Follow me first, and then go follow the Last But Not Least podcast. I be trying to figure out what's wrong with these rich white men. Like, did you not think that they would go file a lawsuit after you kind of like humiliate them in a sexual sense, right? And then you just fire them like, hey, on to the next one. Did y'all think at no point in time that somebody would sue you? I don't know.
Keep your hoe on a leash.
Maybe being rich just makes people that brazen and just think that they're, hey, whatever I do is good to go. Like, I got no consequences or nothing like that. But in my mind, I would think if you did somebody that way and you use somebody in that way, that you would try to appease them and try to keep them around and maybe bolster their career a little bit, whatever it takes to make them feel like that transaction was worth it. You feel me? But the idea that you fire these people is just crazy. I think Diddy did the same thing, where you got an assistant who got fired who now went rogue and started telling all your business. Will Smith was the same thing. Had an assistant that got fired. Now they went rogue telling all your business. And I don't know.
Quickly.
It's amazing to me. Even if you sign an NDA, there's limitations to an NDA. There's a time limit to an NDA, generally speaking. So, you got all these people who can make these movies, about their experiences with you. They can always come to the light, get a book deal. I mean, there's so much money in coming forth and telling your story in this day and age. It doesn't make sense why people wouldn't do it. But to my point, it wouldn't make sense why Vince McMahon and the WWE wouldn't just further her career and make sure that she was a happy camper in a sense, and again, I think I said on the P. Diddy episode that we did, You Can Hate Me Now, Last But Not Least podcast, go check that out. And it's a weird dynamic because it's just like, there's always, again, I've never been in these rooms, so please take this with a grain of salt, but it always seems to be that you're in these positions next to these people, these gatekeepers, right? And you have to do something to stand out amongst everyone else, right? Everybody can be, like I said, everybody can be, but in the WWE, anybody can be a wrestler for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't take much to be a wrestler. You don't even have to be fit necessarily. Like, you got people like Yokozuna, Andre the Giant, The Big Show, like D-Lo, like they've had different size wrestlers, right? So they had different ethnicities. That doesn't necessarily make a difference. Can you sell a product, right? So it's a weird space to be in where it's just like, okay, anybody can sign up to do the job. Literally anybody can sign up to do the job, right? What makes you different than the 100 people I got out in the lobby that want this job, that want this fame, that want this stardom? Because we know this is a life-changing event for you, right? So why would I put you in that position? Why would I believe in you unless you make me believe in you? And they make you get it out the mud, bro. Like, they make you figure out what make you different than Sarah, who's coming in after you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I hate that it's like that, but I don't think it's ever going to change, right? So if you take Vince McMahon down, you take Sean Combs down, you take all these executives down who are the gatekeepers, you just bring in more gatekeepers, right? And then they just find better ways to conceal what it is that they're doing. Like, yeah, you can take down one, but there's so many people doing it. I just don't see how you can govern it, because these are private companies for the most part. Well, they probably turn public, but you know how they're run. Like, the WWE was a family-built business for the most part. You know, Vince McMahon started it with his son, I think his ex-wife, and his daughter, and they've kind of grown it into what you see today. And you know, I don't know what exec can come in and change that. Like, what policy can come in and change that? And it's a weird thing in America where it's like, some of the freedoms we enjoy is based off of not having a level of oversight that's almost dictatorial in a sense, right? So you want to look at it like, well, this is the land of the free, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you can't keep putting in laws that prevent people to act freely. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if somebody has the possibility to take advantage of those freedoms, you have to allow them to do that. Let the penal system, take its course and let it go through the legal system, you know? And unfortunately, for things like this right here, right? Vince McMahon ain't going to jail. Vince McMahon's like 78 years old. The WWE is probably worth I think it's worth a couple billion. So I think it's 2 billion or 3 billion or somewhere around that ballpark. But if you really think about it, y'all honestly think that he's going to jail? No. He's going to settle out of court. There'll be some kind of Diddy-like settlement where he pays $30 million, maybe $40 million to this woman for what happened, and then they'll sweep it under the rug, right? But WWE is going to stay on television network. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's weird. So it's also a weird dynamic, because if Bill Cosby owned the WWE and he got hit with these allegations, they would pull WWE off the airwaves, right? But they would never let that happen, first and foremost, not an entity as big as WWE, and let a black person own it. You know, in my opinion, I just don't think that they would do that. They have to have other people who have a piece of the pie to be able to say, yep, we can snatch this away from you if you don't act accordingly. And now Vince McMahon stepped down, but he still owns the company. He's still getting paid off the company. Make no mistake. Just like the buddy from Papa John's. Like, yeah, you don't see his face no more, but please believe he's still getting money from these franchises and the quarterly sales and the bonuses and all that stuff. This is his product. Yeah, he might not be on the board anymore. He might not be the CFO or the CEO anymore, but either way, he's still making money. He's just not front and center anymore. So I don't know, man. What are y'all thoughts? Like, is there a way for us to fix this system? I don't think that there is. I think its system is what it is. Either you take advantage of it or you don't take advantage of it. It's part of being one of the elitists. You get to indulge in sins and activity that the average person doesn't get to indulge in. And dare I say, the average person doesn't want to indulge in. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Y'all let me know if y'all got any solution to that. On a side note, trying to end on some positive notes, like, what's your favorite wrestler? Like, thinking back to it, like when I did watch the WWE, and I haven't watched it since probably like 2003, 2004, right? Got The Rock, obviously, Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho. Rob Van Dam was probably my favorite wrestler from the ECW. For the old head watching this, y'all know what ECW was. They had Rob Van Dam, Sabu, the Dudley Boys. Like, that was kind of more my lane. And then once ECW went away and it was strictly ECW, and then WCW both went away, and it was just WWE, it just, I don't know, it just was different for me. So I just really didn't get to it. But who's your favorite wrestler? Please comment below. And man, I hope we find some clarity in this. There's also a WWE player who was allegedly involved in a couple of these scandals. One who played for the UFC, who was a fighter for UFC for a brief stint. I'm not gonna say no names because it's all alleged. They also played football for the NFL for a brief little moment too. Yeah, I know. If anybody knows anything about anything, that's me giving you the "you should know who this is" look to the camera, but I don't know if that worked. Anyway, they're also tied into these allegations, and long story short, Vince offered him something to come back to the WWE, and he also offered this young lady as a bargaining chip, which was crazy because the guy came back, so you can only imagine what she had to do to this guy in order for him to come back to the WWE. And I'll just leave that there. I'm sure there'll be more come out. There'll be more to talk about. But right now, that's what we know. Vince McMahon's getting hit with a lawsuit. He's 78 years old. He's probably going to settle out of it for a large, substantial amount of money. This lady will be very rich, but very embarrassed when the facts come out about everything that transpired during this lawsuit. So, yeah, man. We're going to leave it there, man. As again, please subscribe to the channel. This is Man vs. Mike. Go holler at my other page, the Last But Not Least podcast. Shout out to your cousin KG. Shout out to all the guests we've had on that show. Hopefully we can bring some of that same energy here and we can get y'all tuned in more often. It's your boy, Mr. Snapasode, and I am officially out.